Hey guys, it's Dr. Pete. Hey, today we're going to do a quick Facebook Live where we're going to talk about simple and effective ways to take care of that crippling anxiety in 7 days or less. And why is that important for me? I have so many people that come into my office right now, patients that are literally crippled with anxiety, with depression, okay, mental illness. And some people, you wouldn't see it on the outside. They look like they have everything together, but anxiety is one of those things that cripples them. But I want to encourage you today, if you are someone or know someone that's dealing with anxiety, hey, there's a solution for you. Not only is it a solution that's natural for you, but it's something that we can see huge changes in literally 7 days or less. Okay, but let's talk a little bit about anxiety. Let's talk about a stressful world. I heard recently that there's more stress in 1 month today than a generation ago, just previous to ours, had in their entire lifetime only one generation ago. And when I talk about stress, it's more than just, hey, I have drama today. It's physical. Car accidents, falls, whiplash injuries, sitting at a desk all day, a sedentary lifestyle. It's also chemical. The foods that we eat, the air that we breathe, okay, are chemical stressors. Sugar, gluten, okay, even the protein dairy called casein are chemical stressors. And then there's emotional stress. Living in this life. We just came away from this last election and that probably brought more emotional stress to people than really anything that we've ever experienced before. And stress affects us every day of our life. And when stress is not dealt with effectively, it leads to anxiety. It leads to depression. And when a person is anxious, a typical person that walks into our office that says, Dr. Pete, I can't kick this anxiety thing. I'm on all these antidepressants. I'm on all these medications. Just because I want to live a normal life. Life is stressful. And what most people do when it comes to eating, they go to comfort foods. And so maybe you know about those comfort foods. The comfort foods that the industry has literally spent billions of dollars creating. Okay? And they're making billions of dollars. And we know these comfort foods. The chocolates, the Snicker bars, the Reese's, the French fries. Those French fries that taste so good. It's the donuts, whether you get them from Dunkin' Donuts or Krispy Kremes or wherever you might find those donuts, the Doritos, okay, the soda. And so comfort foods have really three characteristics. One, they're high calorie, they have tons of fat, and they're very salty. And why is that key? Because they know, and the scientists creating these products, because they're scientists that create these products, what do they want to do? They want to affect the centers of your brain that make you feel good, and your taste buds. And here's the thing, when you're anxious, when you have crippling anxiety, these things will actually make you feel better. But it's at the expense of long-term stress and chronic depression and anxiety, debilitating anxiety. And so today we're going to give you just some simple solutions that you can incorporate today. You don't have to wait till tomorrow. You can incorporate these things today and see huge changes in 7 days or less. How do I know that? Because we put people and our patients on these very simple things that they're not even complicated. They don't even taste a lot. So let's talk about this real quickly. First of all, if these are some of the things that you go to on a regular basis, the chocolates, the French fries, the donuts, the Mountain Dews. The Mountain Dew alone, okay? What is it? 77 grams of sugar. That's like 2 days of sugar that an average person should have on a regular basis. And now watch this. When our bodies is at homeostasis and rest, homeostasis is a place that is kind of the anti-stress. It's where you feel good. It's where the body is the most resilient. You hear all those people that says, well, no matter what comes around, the flu, colds, whatever, they don't get sick. Well, what's the difference? There's certain individuals that their body is so trained to come back to homeostasis where the body is the most resilient. And then you have those individuals that they seem to catch everything. Why is that? Because for whatever reason, their body is dealing with stress and not recovering from it. So watch this. This is homeostasis and rest. This is where the body is the most resilient. This is where your mind is not anxious. It's where your mind's not racing. It's where you have peace of mind. This is homeostasis. If you drink one Mountain Dew just like this, within 30 minutes, your body's in a full-blown, full-fledged stress response. And it takes 4 hours to get back to homeostasis and rest. What does that mean? It means that every soft drink like this shuts your immune system off for 4 hours. Why is that important? Because when your immune system shut down, it begins to affect your mind. When your immune system shut down, it affects your digestive system, okay? Your ability to detoxify the body the way it's supposed to, and it begins to coordinate with your mind. Here's what we've come to understand, that your gut and your brain, the gut is the second brain, they work hand in hand through the vagus nerves that comes out of the brainstem down into the gut, and it's where it communicates back and forth. And when you begin to consume a lot of these foods that are comfort foods that make you feel good, it's at the expense of breaking down your gut, and 70% of serotonin production is created in your gut. What does that mean? Serotonin is that feel-good hormone that makes you have a good mood. And when your gut is bad, when your gut's not working the way it's supposed to, it will actually affect your brain and your body's ability to cope with this life. It will cause a person to become anxious. A lot of people say, well, Dr. Pete, I already know, they think it's in my head, but it's so real to me. Trust me, I know. And my heart breaks for these patients that come in. They say, Dr. Pete, no one seems to help. I'm on all these medications. In fact, I had a gentleman just yesterday, 22 years of age, that came in on so many psychotropic drugs, anxiety, depression, doesn't know what to do with himself, and all they do is keep putting him on medication after medication after medication. My concern is, when I saw what he was eating these things. And he said, Dr. Pete, they make me feel better, okay? When I don't even have a lot of money, he said, they make me feel better. But let me tell you this, I don't even care if you eliminate all this right now, okay? Let's just get you moving in the right direction. Let's just say, okay, hey, let's not worry about anything else. If you're going to have a Mountain Dew, okay, I'm going to have you drink more water with it. Good, purified water. And so before you have that next Mountain Dew, drink some more water. Why? Because we're going to provide a counterbalance to all the stress in your life so that we're going to allow your body to cope effectively the way it's supposed to. And then, I like to say, and I joke around all the time, that there's so many things I can replace these foods with these. You said, Dr. Pete, come on, this tastes so good over here. And that doesn't look like it tastes so good, but let me tell you this, it will make you feel so much better. And it'll be something you begin to crave. So let's just talk about some of these products real quick. First of all, we're going to begin over time to begin to minimize some of these products over here, these comfort foods. And then we're going to begin to slowly add some of these foods. These are some foods that are going to begin to make your body resilient so you can handle the stressors of life, and they're going to literally begin to remove naturally the crippling anxiety that so many people are dealing with. And so today, if you know someone that's dealing with crippling anxiety, or maybe it's you, I'd ask that you'd share this Facebook post. Go tell your friends that there's an answer for them. In fact, it's not a complicated answer. It's something that they can incorporate today, and within 7 days, see huge, huge benefits. And so see, these are some of my favorites when it comes to dealing with anxiety naturally, okay? Now, let's not even talk about this, coconut oil. Coconut oil is one of those things, very, very beneficial for you because it's like brain food, okay? When the brain begins to break down sugar for energy, it begins to affect everything from dementia to anxiety to autoimmune issues, okay? So when we can begin to incorporate good healthy fats, not bad fats, okay? Good healthy fats. What are good healthy fats? Things like coconut oil, things like avocados, okay? Like an avocado down here, good healthy fat. Even grass-fed butter is a good healthy fat, which is great for your brain and actually will help you begin to feel a whole lot better and begin to help with that crippling anxiety. So we have some coconut oil here. Also, when it comes to your gut, these are some of the things that I encourage all my patients to begin to consider. Number one, kombucha. Okay, I love Kavita brand. Okay, their kombucha here is a fermented tea. The fermentation process is what creates good probiotics, which are good, helpful bacteria that help not only begin to repair your gut, but begin to replenish your gut. And your gut is foundational. It is the second brain. It's where 70% of serotonin production is created. And when you begin to heal your gut, it begins to do a number on helping you deal with that crippling anxiety, okay? And so we're going to begin to incorporate things like kombucha, which is a fermented tea. We're also going to begin to incorporate things like kefir, okay? Typically, people have heard of things like coconut kefir or dairy kefir. This is a water kefir called Sparkling Probiotics from the same company, Kavita. It's a cultured beverage that's rich in good, healthy bacteria. So what we're going to do is we're going to begin to support the digestive system and the gut so that we can begin to produce that good serotonin once again. And then here's one of my favorites. Now, for those of you that like sauerkraut, maybe you've been told, Bubby's sauerkraut is one of the best things that you can incorporate, okay? Maybe you're familiar with making sauerkraut your own. You can actually take the juice from this sauerkraut, okay, when you're done with Bubby's, and you can actually create your own sauerkraut just from this juice alone, which is pretty cool. But sauerkraut is fermented veggies, and fermented veggies will begin to replenish that gut the way it's supposed to. Now, let's go back to the comfort foods, okay? These comfort foods, foods that are high in salt, fat, and calories and sugar, break down the intestinal lining, okay? And when they break down the intestinal lining of your gut, okay, it depletes serotonin production, which is that feel-good hormone, okay, and it's going to begin to affect your brain, and it will actually cause debilitating anxiety long-term. So the very things that people are consuming to feel better short-term is actually creating more havoc long-term and causing chronic illness. So what we want to do is we want to begin to minimize some of these things that break down your gut, like sugar, gluten, casein, and all these processed foods, and then we're going to begin to add some things that actually help replenish your gut. In fact, kombucha became famous with President Reagan years ago. What most people don't understand is that President Reagan had stomach cancer. And stomach cancer is so bad that they didn't think he was going to make it. And remember, President Reagan didn't actually die because of stomach cancer. Why? Because a German scientist gave him kombucha, which is a fermented tea that began to help replenish the gut, alkalize the body. It's great for your brain, great for your mood. Incorporating some of these things are going to help your gut. Also things like broccoli. Broccoli is very, very beneficial. Okay, green leafy vegetables are very, very beneficial. Okay, there's a 2012 study that found that people who consumed green leafy vegetables like that had a lower risk of depression than those who didn't eat these. Another study actually found that eating vegetables helped young adults calm their nerves. And then if you look over here, here's another great thing that we encourage our patients with, which is wild sockeye salmon. Now, why is that important? Wild sockeye salmon is from Alaska, and in Alaska, they can't farm fish. And so if I'm going to buy salmon, salmon is rich in good omega-3 fatty acids, which is very, very beneficial for you, which plays a vital role in emotional well-being. In fact, one study in brain behavior and immunity showed a 20% reduction in anxiety among medical students taking omega-3 fatty acids, as well as wild sockeye salmon. So something you can incorporate very, very simply. It doesn't have all those, it's not farm raised, it's wild caught sockeye salmon, which is very, very beneficial for you. And then blueberries. Most people don't realize that blueberries are actually very, very beneficial for your mood. Okay? Really the antioxidants in blueberries are proven to aid your brain in the production of dopamine, a chemical that is critical for good mood. So just even a handful of blueberries every day is going to be great for your mood. I have some almonds up here. Almonds are great as well, okay? Rich in omega-3 fatty acids that are great for the body. And then dark chocolate. You say, well, Dr. P, you're telling me to get rid of some of these sugary foods and snacks and candy bars. But hey, let me tell you this, that dark chocolate is one of the greatest things that you can consume. Now, one of the things that I'm going to encourage you to do, if you're going to buy dark chocolate, buy it with 70% cacao powder. Okay, it's a more purified form of chocolate, rich in powerful antioxidants, actually proven to be very beneficial for your brain and your mood and feeling good, to really counteract the effects of anxiety. Okay, so what most people do for years is they go to all these comfort foods that make you feel good temporarily, but it's at the expense of long-term anxiety, depression, and mental illness. Let's begin to minimize some of these things very quickly, and then let's begin to incorporate things that are actually very beneficial for you to get you on the road to a happy and healthy life, and really begin to remove naturally the crippling anxiety that so many people deal with on a regular basis. But this is my favorite, okay, StressRx. You say, well, Dr. B, what do you do first for these patients that are coming to your office? The first thing I do for everyone is give them StressRx. Why? StressRx is a group of adaptogens. And so let me just share with you a study that I printed off the other day. There's a study that was done by clinical psychiatry, okay, from the Department of Psychiatry at the University of Texas Southwestern Medical Center. And what they found is this, that depressive disorder and anxiety is the result of an HPA axis dysfunction. What does that mean? Okay, remember how I talked about that when your body's at homeostasis, the body's the most resilient, and under stress, the body adapts physiologically. Okay, Well, the HPA axis of the brain is what gathers the information from the environment and gathers the stress from our environment, whether it's the foods that you eat, whether it's the emotional stressors, and it allows the physiology of the body to adapt accordingly to deal with that stress. And then when the stress is gone, the body comes back to homeostasis. That all happens through the HPA axis of the brain. Well, what they're finding now, the Department of Psychiatry at the University of Texas, the World Journal of Psychiatry, okay, many other different journals and scientific studies right now are saying this. When the body fails to come back to homeostasis and rest, that is the key ingredient in anxiety disorders and depression. And that's key. That's something that I tell all my patients. So what does that mean? That means I want your body to adapt physiologically to stress, but we need it to come all the way back to homeostasis and rest. If the body ever falls short of homeostasis and rest, that's where we have a serious issue. It's the main issue when it comes to anxiety and depression. That's why we tell all our patients to get on StressRx. It's a group of 3 adaptogens. What are adaptogens? Adaptogens are 5,000-year-old herbs that have been around forever. Hollywood now is going crazy over these herbs, but they've actually been around forever. Adaptogens they don't have any side effects, okay? And what they do is they actually make your brain smarter. How do they make your brain smarter? They bring the body to homeostasis and rest. In fact, they actually act like a thermostat in the brain. So caffeine is a stimulant, and then there's suppressants. The cool thing about adaptogens is they're a thermostat. So they bring you up to homeostasis or bring you down to homeostasis, whatever the body needs to come back to its most resilient state. And if the body ever leaves that place of homeostasis, that's where chronic illness happens. That's where the immune system is weakened. But not only that, that's where anxiety lives and depression live right there. So if we can restore the body to homeostasis and rest, not only do we make you resilient, but we literally begin to deal with the anxiety and the depression that so many people are dealing with, and we deal with it quickly and effectively. I have so many testimonies of patients. In fact, I have a mom that came in here a few months ago with her 2 small kids. She came to my office to get adjusted, and she walked out because her kids were going crazy. She began to weep. She goes, I can't handle it. Literally, life is so stressful for me tonight. I'm so anxious. I'm getting depressed. And she left. Her husband came in about 20 minutes later. I said, you have to give this to your wife. It will change her life. Here's just a bottle for free. Don't even pay for it. Just take it. She went home and put a thing on Facebook. She said, Dr. Pete for the win. I literally felt like I was going crazy. I was loony. And my husband came back with some StressRx, and I took it, and within no lie, 10 to 15 minutes, I felt like a brand new person. Why is that? It's not just because it was in her head. We help restore the body to homeostasis and rest. That's what adaptogens do. They actually restore homeostasis and rest. And adaptogens, tons and tons of scientific studies on how adaptogens affect all the systems of the body to restore homeostasis and rest. And here's the thing, here's a secret. When stress affects any one of the 12 systems of the body, that's what leads to all the disease processes that we face on a regular basis. And the real culprit is stress and the body's inability to come back to homeostasis and rest. And what adaptogens do, they actually restore that homeostasis and rest. In fact, there's only 3 things that are proven to restore homeostasis and rest and get your sanity back. Thought process, movement. That's why when you exercise, you feel better, don't you? It's great for your brain. But the 3rd thing are adaptogens, scientifically proven. They've been around for over 5,000 years to help restore homeostasis and get your sanity back. I will tell you this, and when it comes to anxiety, depression, it's the #1 thing that I suggest. Why? Because I want to make sure that no matter what you're dealing with in this life, because stress is inevitable, you're going to have stress. We're never going to eliminate stress. But what we can do is we can begin to minimize it by eliminating some of these toxic foods, adding some nutrient-dense foods that are going to be great for your brain, and then we're going to begin to increase resiliency, and we're going to allow your body to cope effectively. Here's the